Um, if somebody is not familiar with that, we know, of course, racism is wrong, and the church speaks clearly on that, but that document does more than just reaffirm that. It lays out a plan and a goal. Could you maybe very briefly discuss a couple of those points with us, things that you think people should take away from that document to try to actually implement into their everyday lives?
Sure. I think first and foremost, an examination of one's own heart. Secondly, I understand intimidation with people who may not be our family, but hopefully we have a level of communication with our family that we can call out jokes or attitudes or things like that. And I'm not saying, and there's a way to do that. And the proper way to do that is, have you ever thought about what you just said from the perspective of this? It's not accusatory. It's an invitation to dialogue, an invitation to examine, So I think it says, that we need to also recognize that we need to be lifting up racial issues in our families with those whom we love and who might need that kind of help. I think then after the family, I do think, as you said, Open Wide Our Hearts calls us to encounters, those courageous conversations with other people. The fourth thing is, though it is a matter of the heart, you are correct, education is very important.
Yes.
And so Open Wide Our Hearts invites us to learn what we can with regard to church teaching about life, with regard to the church's teaching against racism, and all of those things, that give direction and guidance to us as Catholics. So education is another part of that. And then the final thing that I would say is Open Wide Our Hearts, that wonderful document produced by the bishops of the United States, also has a study guide that can be utilized for small groups, for family discussions, table discussion as a family, for Bible study groups, whatever. usccb.org/racism is the website where you can find, in both English and Spanish, the study guide as well as the letter. And if we are educators, particularly in Catholic schools, there are lesson plans on that website approved by the church for grades K through 12. If you're teaching or homeschooling your kids, there are full lesson plans there from grades kindergarten through 12th grade. All you have to do is download. It's free. Download it, and it's a wonderful session against racism, rooted in the teaching of the Catholic Church, with for age appropriate, things like that. So those are just some of the ways. And as you said, read Open Wide Our Hearts, and even read the other documents against racism that the Church has produced in the past at significant moments. So there's a lot that we can do and should do. If we are just stepping into this stream that's called racism, it's not like next week I have to be proclaiming these things. I educate myself, and then I move in a way that is consistent with who we are as the church. And I mean, finally, if your parish doesn't have a group, volunteer to start a group. And I've been to at least one parish group that is fighting against the evil and sin of racism here in the Archdiocese of Louisville, and it was a wonderful meeting as they, struggle with how to eradicate racism from the church and from society. And so there's all those things and more that Open Wide Our Hearts mentions. Big steps and small steps for those who might want to hopefully, for all who would want to begin to examine their hearts and become more and more who Jesus calls us to be.